Today I wanted to talk about the different payment methods I use and why I chose the ones I use, and sort of, some restrictions or limits that you should put upon certain payment processors that you use. Like, you shouldn't go over a certain dollar amount, you shouldn't take this type of transaction, things of this nature. A lot of people don't like PayPal. Okay, you'll probably have noticed there's a lot of complaints online about PayPal. And it's not as if they're not justified for some of their complaints, don't get me wrong, but if you actually know how the beast operates, referring to PayPal as being a beast, if you know how it operates, then you don't have as much to worry about. Once you fully understand how it works and sort of the things to avoid taking money with it, certain types of product and certain dollar amounts. I think that if you go over $500, it's unwise when it comes to PayPal. I recommend you don't take any money over $500 with PayPal. And, I often use bank transfers whenever it's more than that. That's actually a good way to take payments. And you might think to yourself, well, how can I get a customer to give me a bank transfer? Well, if they know who you are and they're a customer that continually comes to you to buy a product, it's not difficult to get someone to do this because they already know you're going to deliver a good product. They trust you. So unless it's like a new customer or it's something where it's a customer through a website like eBay where you're not allowed to do that, then you have issues. Now, there's a sizable difference between taking a payment on PayPal directly or eBay, through eBay. A large difference between the two situations because there's different rules governing payments outside of eBay as with payments on eBay. Outside of eBay, you have a lot more protection. I would say it's far more fair for the seller, and actually probably slightly leans towards the seller when you're selling directly through PayPal instead of on eBay. With outside of eBay, there is no buyer protection. And outside of eBay, there's no seller protection. So there's no buyer or seller protection outside of eBay. So if someone buys something from you and then they're like, oh, this isn't as described, and they file a not as described dispute, you could easily win. Okay? Because there's no buyer protection. And if you're a good seller, they'll default towards you more often than not. In the case of me, they almost always defaulted towards me when someone said that. Now, if you have a lot of them, not as described disputes, they're probably going to default more to the buyer. So as you can see, it kind of works more in favor of the seller there. Obviously, the same with eBay or outside of eBay. With non-receipt disputes, all you need to do is give a tracking number, confirm that the thing delivers, call up eBay or PayPal, tell them, hey, it's delivered, and then they'll close the dispute. Not as described on eBay, you're going to lose. Okay, Amazon, same kind of idea. Not as described, you're going to lose. Why am I talking about PayPal? Obviously, there's many different types of payment methods. I use Skrill, which is called Money Bookers. I actually like that one probably the best, but the only negative side of Skrill is that it takes sometimes a little while to sign up. However, once you've signed up, then it's a simple process. So I like to use Skrill. I've had no problems with Skrill, and I've had it for, I think, 4 years. Like, 0 problems. It's a really good system. With PayPal, I've got it down to a science. Whenever you take money out of PayPal, you always want to leave in there 3 days worth of money, 3 days worth of orders of money within PayPal. If you do that, they're not going to try to, hold your money or do any crazy stuff to you. Once you've established yourself, I mean. So I always try to leave at least 3 days worth of sales of money in my PayPal. Also, communication with your customers is vital to avoiding disputes and being able to give good solutions to any problem. I would say over 50% of the time you can solve an order problem without any dispute or refund. And you have to obviously gain experience dealing with the situation. It all has to do with just figuring out exactly what they want and sort of kind of reading their mind a little bit and giving them what they want. You know what I mean? Or convincing them. Like if they think a certain thing, you got to convince them otherwise. And sometimes you can do that, and sometimes you can't. Depends on the customer. So, I would say PayPal is good as long as you understand how it works. If you don't understand how it works, don't be surprised if you blow your leg off using it, and then being pissed off, you go online and you make a huge blog against PayPal and how you hate it. Of course, I'm not gonna lie. There was a time when PayPal did some stuff that was pretty shady, and they got sued, class action lawsuits against them, for holding money for indefinite periods of time. I'm not talking about 6 months thing. I'm talking about indefinite periods of time, and sometimes just keeping your money. And from what I understand, they might still do that in certain countries, where they just hold your money and do whatever they want, which they can't do it here anymore in America because they got sued and lost. Okay? They also got sued for a situation like, let's say you owe them money, okay, and you removed your bank account from PayPal before you owed them money. Okay, let's say you removed the bank account, you moved the credit card, whatever you had on there, and you had a negative balance on your PayPal. Back in the old days, before they got sued, they would just go find your old bank account number or credit card and charge it, which would be against the law because they got sued over it, because they didn't have authorization because you removed them both from their system. Then they got sued and they lost. So now, if you remove them before there's a negative balance, they will not charge your bank account or credit card that you removed. However, if you have them still on there, they could charge you, as you can imagine. I don't know if that is relevant to you, but I'm sure there might be a situation where someone might need to know that type of information. Some other payment methods. Google Checkout, which is now called Google Wallet because they actually closed Google Checkout. I would recommend you don't use that one unless they've changed their ways in the last 2 years. Google Checkout actually shut down probably because of their problems that they were having, which I'm sure stems from the fact that they don't follow their own rules. When I used Google Checkout, I would randomly have, like, once in a blue moon, a refund to someone who's not even necessarily complaining or anything. Just a refund out of thin air, you know what I mean? And nothing was returned, It's kind of weird. Why would they just refund somebody like that, That's kind of disturbing, isn't it? Yeah, that happened to me. And they also have really odd calculation methods. I almost got the impression like they were having troubles, and that's probably why they shut down Google Checkout. I mean, I had troubles with them. I actually got in a fight with them over it, and we couldn't agree on anything because I don't think that they were using legitimate or sound accounting methods or something. There was something that wasn't right, and random things would go wrong when I was using it. So I would recommend you don't use Google Wallet. There's also Square.com. I would recommend you don't use it for credit cards unless you know the person you're getting the credit card order from is a good person. If you don't know that, you're likely to potentially have a lot of scammers buy from you because Square doesn't actually flesh out their customer base too well. So, yeah, not so good. Square's good for transferring money, like if somebody wants to send you a bank transfer, and you know the person. I was using Square for that. There's Pop Money. I would recommend that for bank transfers. Let's see, what else? You got Dwolla. It's not very popular, but Dwolla is a good payment method. Although I know they're starting to take credit cards, I think, or last I heard they were going to start taking credit cards. I don't know what to think of that. I haven't dealt with that. I've taken payments before they started doing the credit card thing, and it was fine beforehand. I don't know I can't comment on that part. Let's see, what else? Well, I did a bunch of research. I'll put it underneath this video on different merchants, third-party merchants, through AuthorizeNet. And I would say that more than 50% of them were bad, of the third-party companies out there. Some of the ones I found to be good were Merchant Account Providers, Merchant Focus, Evo Platinum Services Group, Start Merchant Services, National Merchant Band Card. And then there were some with question marks I had, which means I didn't have enough data to judge whether they were good or not. I'm not going to read those, but there were several bad ones, and the way I determined whether or not they were bad was by just simply going to the website ripoffreport.com and typing their name in to see if there was a bunch of people complaining. So it's not a bad way to figure it out. iPayment was one of the very bad ones. Flagship Merchant Services, very bad. Total Merchant Services, very bad. Bank Card USA, very bad. Charge.com, Merchant, very bad. North American Band Card, very bad. And Merchant Warehouse, very bad. Okay, that's just some off the top of my research there. Now, there's some other ones that look good too. Another good one would be CC Now. That one looked pretty good. Some notable ones to avoid that might be something that you would easily sign up for. Probably Chase Payment Tech, because a lot of people have Chase accounts and they get advertised to by some banker to sign up for third-party credit card processing for their business bank account. I would say they're partial losers is what I wrote here, partial losers. First National Processing equals bad. I was thinking, let me see what Fargo was. I got that, I think, here somewhere. What did I get? Did I put it down here? Yeah. Oh, they were just bad. So you got Wells Fargo is bad. A lot of it has to do with the fact that you have your bank account with them, and they can just freeze your bank account if there's a problem. Yeah. Unless you like your money frozen, I suggest you don't get your merchant services at your bank account. At your bank, I mean. Not exactly the best move in the world. I would also say that large payments, don't ever take a large credit card payment unless you know the person and you know they're not going to screw you. And make sure they're a moral person, even if you do know them. Like, let's say it's your brother, and you trust your brother, but your brother sometimes gets hard on money, and he might just do something stupid. You know what I mean? So, what I'm saying is just don't take large payments unless you really know the person's good and he's not going to screw you. Period. With PayPal, as I indicated, they generally follow their own rules. Whether or not you like the rules, that's not what I'm trying to get at, but you can know what they're going to do if you know their rules. And you can know what to avoid selling and what to sell and use PayPal for. And I would recommend don't use them for anything over $500 for multitude of reasons. Okay? Just a few reasons off the top of my head. One, because customers tend to be more likely to do chargebacks on high amounts of money. Two, PayPal is more likely to screw you in some way, shape, or form, even if you're, even if you're like a buyer potentially. Large amounts of money with one customer via PayPal is not always the wisest thing in the world. I had somebody pay me $10,000 one time for some stupid ass order. I called her on the phone, and I ended up refunding her because she was like flaky. I think she was like some buyer for some company. And, honestly, I don't know why these people, you know, I wanted to slap her upside the head, dude. I just wanted to. Why should we have to take your huge ass payment from a credit card? You're a big company. We're like small companies. We don't need your big ass payment unless you're going to pay us in cash or a money order. Otherwise, we'll just refund you. That's the right way to approach it. You should, anything over $500, I would recommend bank transfer. And if they don't want to do a bank transfer, just tell them, well, I'm sorry, I can't help you out. You know what I mean? I mean, it's really tempting to take a big payment like $10,000. But the fact of the matter is, what if that guy files a chargeback on you? You know what I mean? Are you willing to suck it up? Do you want to suck it up? So I'm just recommending, you know, probably with any of these things, the only one I would even maybe remotely trust with over $500 is Skrill. And even then, I probably wouldn't go for anything over $1,000 with Skrill. Skrill is like really sort of on the seller's side, so I would recommend him if you need something a little over $500, use Skrill to take the payment. I mean, I don't know what else to say. This is just my advice to people.